Hey guys, thank you for listening and watching. My name is Tara, and so since I have put out the video about my time with the Bentinho Massaro cult, which is another video on um, my YouTube channel. If you haven't seen it, you can go check that out. I share a lot of what that experience was like, and so I wanted to do a video. I wanted to talk about. Just this time we're in of no more gurus, and I think all of this is coming out now, um, because we are in this global, if you will, like awakening, really, and the time for gurus and teachers to be a voice, to have the impact that they have. I really, on people, on others, I think that time is really coming to a close. And that, of course, doesn't mean that nobody has anything good to say and that there aren't, people and teachers out there that have great things to say and something that may really resonate for you. And but I'm talking more about like following, having someone that you look to as a leader or someone you see on a pedestal. And this really, really ties in with the other work I do around natural law and authority, and how we've given so much power away as a culture because we've been conditioned to. We've given so much power away to anything or anyone outside of ourselves to tell us what to do and how to do it. And I actually don't know, how to handle myself in this way or that way. Like with medicine, we outsource to so-called doctors in the Western medical field. I'll do another video on that. That's a whole story, right? But I just wanted to share sort of what's been coming up for me, since doing this video, because I've thought about it for like 5 years now since I've been out of that high control group, which of course I didn't know that's what it was, right? And it took me a couple years after to be like, what happened? Like, I don't really totally understand because there's a lot of psychology to it. Um, there's so much I could say, but and sharing what I did, I think I kind of minimized it for myself because I was like, oh, it's not that big of a deal. I'll share this. Hopefully it can help some people. It'll support the other people coming out against Bentinho. Great, whatever I can do. But it was really vulnerable. And, I don't, share like that online or on social media a lot, not because there's anything to hide, but because it's just, it's just not something I feel to do, right? To bring everybody into my very intimate personal life. That it's not needed, but in this case, it was needed. It was necessary, and it was the right thing to do. And I'm so happy I did it. There's been a ton of positive feedback. People coming out from the time I was in that group who were in there with me at the time, and just sharing how much it's helping them, and so it's amazing. I'm so happy I did it. So go check that out if you would like to learn more about what it's like to be in a high control group, or feel like maybe am I in one of those? Um, I'm not laughing about that. I'm just saying it can help to maybe ping things that because when you're in one of those groups, you can't put it together, because you part of yourself is not with you, and so you get really well indoctrinated and wrapped up in like the leader can do no wrong, and so everything else just kind of goes away. Um, anyway, that's today. I really want to talk about no more gurus, and I know gurus actually, this tradition in India, this it can be a beautiful tradition, right? Where from a young age, like a family will have like a guru that they go to that helps them spiritually, um, learn and grow and just learn, about spirituality and things like that. And that's a beautiful thing. I think that's a beautiful thing. However, in our culture, in Western culture, it has become very toxic, right? And I can't tell you how many like spiritual communities and groups end up being cults, culty, like having some leader that can do no wrong. Like that's, big red flag right there, right? I mean, I had another friend reach out to me. She's like, "Oh my God, I've been in like two spiritual cults." It's like this is this is rampant. It is. It really is, and it comes from. I mean, this is. By the way, these are all my experiences and opinions, and so take what you like, and of course leave the rest. And you are a sovereign being, so you get to choose, what to. I'm not saying listen to me. I'm just saying I'm sharing my experience, in hopes that maybe it can help someone. But this age of like looking outside of ourselves to someone else to have the answers, all the answers, some of the answers, whatever it ends up being, they have all the answers, right? Um, and that's obviously really unhealthy because the thing is like these days, I don't I have no guru, no teacher, nothing like that, and I won't. And it's not out of like everybody stay away, and I'm not ever gonna take anything that anyone says again. It's not that. It's that I have come to a place within myself that I am the only voice I need. And for me, I have a strong, beautiful relationship with the divine because I believe that, we are all divine, and there is a I don't know what we want to call it, a divine God, it's like pure love, that's kind of how I feel about it. And what my experience of it is, it's not in my mind that I've said it's this and this and this. And, I haven't given any human qualities to God, right? Like religion does. I grew up very religious, very culty religious, in the Pentecostal religion. If you know about that, you understand, where women aren't allowed to really do anything, in terms of like their appearance, and can't cut their hair, wear makeup, nothing like that. Have to basically be in long skirts and long everything, and just can't draw any attention to yourself. Meanwhile, the men can pretty much do whatever they want. Um, and that's what I grew up in until I was 8 years old. And that instilled so much fear in me as a child, so much fear that all the good parts of God and the teachings, and I don't mean, I'm not a dogmatic religious person. And I think that that also comes from, us being afraid and needing a guide, needing a book to tell us what to do. If you need a book, I'm talking about the Bible, to tell you what to do and how to live and how to be, then it's not coming from in here. It's coming from somewhere out there. And I believe that God is in us, right? And so that's my only authority, is that divinity in me. And so, I pray and I ask and I offer up a worry or a doubt or anything, all the time, always talking to God, but it's not a God that has human qualities like as is, in the Bible. And again, I don't want to get into any religious debates here with anybody. If you're religious, you probably aren't watching this anyway, but if you are, I'm not judging that. I'm not judging anybody's belief system. I'm just sharing what my experience is and what is right for me, and what I believe to be a very grounded way, a very embodied way to be in this human body on this planet at this time, where I can feel the divinity. I can feel the pure love in me, that is, all around me, but I don't give a human quality to it. Like in the Bible, God is punitive and judgmental and angry. I mean, not, like God's wrath and, all these things that I grew up absolutely terrified of going to hell, of I would have this reoccurring nightmare as a child. I was probably like, I remember 5 years old, and I had this nightmare all the time. And I was standing in line to get into heaven. And then I got up there, and Jesus was at the gates. And he said, "Well, Tara, you don't make pancakes good enough, so I can't let you in." That was my recurring nightmare. I mean, think of the fear that is in a little tiny child to have that dream, and then everything in your life is like, okay, I have to be good, I have to not be a sinner, and oh my God, you're constantly like, it's like, and of course I had moments where I could just be a child and I played and I was happy in a lot of ways, but that was always in the back of my mind, like, I'm a sinner and I'm going to do something wrong. And oh God, if I do something wrong, then I'm going to go to hell and burn for all, of eternity. So I'm getting kind of off track here, but like the point is that if there's something that's creating a fear in you, like if you're not allowed to question the main belief of this group, right? And usually there's a leader, and you're not allowed to question the leader. And if you do question the leader, there will be consequences, right? Whether they're internal or external. Like I talked about in that video about Bentinho, I mentioned the cult of, Schmovid and Schwaxines and all of that. It's like, to me, that's, you're not allowed to question it if you believe that. And if you do, then you're seen as, you're ostracized from that group, the group that believes that, the mainstream, right? And again, I'm not, here to convince anybody of anything, but I'm just sharing, like, almost anything that we see, the systems and structures that surround us are culty. They just are. Um, and it's time that we bring ourselves back to us, back to you, right? You're the authority for yourself. You really are. And I don't mean that in a way that you're just floating all on your own out here. No, you are, in my experience and opinion, you are divine, you are divinity, and that's always got your back. It's always got your back. Again, it's not to give the divine human qualities, because in my experience, the divine doesn't, it's not like wanting things or wishing for things, but it's pure love. And so of course it's there to love you, guide you, support you, and you can ask, you can pray, you can just ask, and be grateful. And my friend that I was talking to today, she mentioned, the two extremes. It's like you've got the religious extreme of like, you have no control and it's all God's will, which, yeah, to some extent we don't have control, and it is God's will. Of course not, I'm not talking about in a religious sense. But it really does disempower from saying, well, I actually also have, free will here, and I make choices, and those choices have consequences, right? Those choices have consequences. They're not just, oh, God wanted it to be that way. And it's like, well, you, somewhere along the line, you made a choice that ended up, whatever, in this way, for better or for worse. And then there's the other extreme of like a lot of the hijacked spiritual teachings that say you create everything. And so whatever you don't like in your reality is because of you. It's because you did something or didn't do something or whatever. So we have these two extremes here when there is a balance. Like both of these things can be true, but it's not, it's not, yeah, black and white like that. I mean, there's a subtlety to all of this. And I'm not going to get into that specifically, but I just wanted to share like, this idea that someone outside of us is going to save us, going to help us, going to, whatever we're looking for in here, getting it from a guru, yeah, is probably going to end badly, because what are the intentions of the guru? And I'm sure there's many that have beautiful intentions and all of that, but from what I've seen and experienced myself, I would say most do not have pure intentions, and then the extreme of that is that they're actually psychopaths, which is where I was at, what I was dealing with, even though I didn't know that. But I think the reason why our culture is so prone to getting into situations where we're looking outside of ourselves for someone else to save us, like I really thought Bentinho had most of the answers, like that's extremely, extremely unhealthy and dangerous, first of all. But it's like there's something in us that it all comes, it's simple. It's like, we're not enough, it's like, I'm not good enough. Um, there's a wounding there that's like, I'm not good enough. I'm not enough on my own. And so I have to go to someone else to source my well-being. And it's ironic because Bentinho always would say, like, don't outsource your well-being. You're outsourcing your well-being. And it's like, well, yeah, to you. But that was never something that was brought up, right? In all of his distortion readings, etc. Um, anyway, so this is just, yeah, just a reminder, an invitation, if there's anything in your life, if there's anything in your life that you feel like, if I question this thing, there will be consequences that I perceive as negative or bad, right? Like I might lose a relationship, I might lose love. Um, I can't question it. Then that's because questioning, being able to having something that you feel is true for you, and you're anchored and you're grounded in it, and it's like, nope, I'm not going to question that. Like there's things like that I feel like I'm not going to question certain things anymore. But the thing is I went through the process of questioning these things for myself and exploring these things for myself. And especially when I, got out of this high control group, I had to question all my spiritual knowings and feelings and teachings. All of it came under the microscope. I mean, I still had my faith um, in the divine. Really, I never did lose that. So I'm grateful. I never lost that, which helped lead me back. Um, but if so, me questioning whatever I need to question now, there's no like perceived consequence. It's like, oh my God, and I have done my questioning, and so it's okay to feel like something, like for you, for certain, and you don't doubt it. Like that's beautiful. I have many things that I feel that way about. Um, but it doesn't mean I haven't questioned them, or if I did, it would still be okay. I'm not gonna lose anything from doing that. So anyway, I hope this was helpful. And you can check out my information below. I do offer coaching on, this topic. So just let me know if you need any support. And yeah, I wish you well, and I'll see you soon.